Good afternoon, greater Philadelphia area. This is Toole Time, Real Estate Radio. I'm Tom Toole. She's Sarah Tymon. We both work with the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Main Line, the number one RE/MAX team in Pennsylvania since 2018. And we are going to be talking about a couple key issues here in the real estate space. Zillow has downgraded their home price forecast. We also saw PCE data come in on target this past month, and we have some retail sales that are soft. Keller Williams sold a large stake in their company. Have you seen this new RE/MAX logo?
No, I didn't.
So we're going to talk about that. And there's an AI agent that generated $100 million in sales volume, which is pretty incredible. So if you get some value out of this, you like what you hear, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications, and if you want to schedule a call with our team, and Sarah specifically, you can do that with a link in the comments. So let's start with the economic stuff, Sarah. Excuse me. So we got the Zillow home value and sales forecast for 2025, and it's weaker than expected. They downgraded sales by 0.9%. What do you think about that?
So the values.
Yeah, I'm getting some more.
Okay. I mean, I'm assuming again that this is probably a national number. There were definitely different sectors and different areas in the country that, I think it makes sense that prices could be coming down a little bit, which could pull the whole average. I would say locally here, I wouldn't put money on the values dropping by almost 1%. But nationally, that certainly could be the case.
I agree with you. I think it's important. You have to understand these things. There's places like Austin that are getting flooded with inventory. Now, what they also forecasted is 4.11 million home sales, which were consistent with last month. That's about where we saw home sales come in last year. How are you feeling about inventory and the sales pace right now? I know we talked about Gary Keller saying there's no easy deals left in real estate, and it certainly feels like a slugfest in the market right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting that there are some homes that are either sitting or where there is opportunity to kind of negotiate things out, maybe get it under the list price. And then there's others that I don't want to say for no rhyme or reason because certainly there is, but that you're up against multiple offers. If you're going in with, a conservative number either at the list price or right around there, and you're looking to get your inspections and you're looking to get different items in there, your offer's not getting accepted.
Yeah, there's that, and then there's also sellers that aren't accepting any offers, right? It's not like you're bidding against multiple people. And what we're seeing is, and I think there's some economic headwinds here now where I think people are a little nervous about these tariffs that are going into place. They're a little nervous about these job cuts. We talked about that last week. We're seeing that inflation looks like it's cooling, but some people think the economy might be poised for a crash. So there's a lot of wait and see things happening right now. And I think what's making people nervous is that, and we're really getting into the meat of the selling season here. If it's March right now. So this is when things usually pick up historically. And seeing inflation cool, I think, helped. But, I don't see this data that tells me we're going to see a whole bunch more homes sell this year than last year. I mean, it looks like it's going to be relatively flat. And that's everywhere. I don't think that's, in any market in particular.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Right. I'm just thinking out for future upcoming listings that I have. And I feel like there's always a pipeline kind of, but of if this happens, then, so where, things need to fall into place accordingly, which is always the case. But certainly homes are going to continue to hit the market. Yes, we are officially in the spring market. But yeah, I wouldn't expect to see some huge, massive jump and, sales just to go through the roof.
I agree. And I think that it's the challenge we're going to have here is that we're seeing inflation cool now, right? The Fed's favorite core inflation measure, it hit 2.6%. That's the PCE. It's the Personal Consumption Expenditures Price Index, which increased 0.3% for the month, and it showed a 2.5% annual rate. And then when you take food and energy out, the core PCE rose 0.3% for the month and was at 2.6 annually. And that's really what the Fed follows. And it's just showing it. Inflation's still here. It's higher than the 2% target, but it's not going away anytime soon. And, then you look at like the jobs report and the job market, and, you're seeing that there's some questions here, right? And we saw that rates have responded. I mean, we're seeing rates today like 6 7/8 or 6 5/8. So, I mean, that's moving in a favorable direction. I don't think this is going to be enough for all these people to go list their homes out of nowhere.
Right. And I think there is a bit of like uncertainty just for, the tariffs. There's a lot of people that work for the federal government that like, are their jobs secure? Even if their jobs are secure, are they going to leave because of just all of the changes going on or the need to be in the office? I mean, there are certainly some people, there's no office to go to. I think, and that's a large group of people. I think there is like a level of uncertainty there.
Well, and then I always look at like the other sectors, like retail sales, right? So there was a report that came out today that Target, right? Do you shop at Target a lot? Big Target fan. So, a lot of people are. And they warned that their February sales were soft, adding to some of these concerns about customer health. The forecast came after other companies like Walmart raised concerns about a slow start to the year. And there was economic data showing consumer confidence is falling a little bit. And then they're expecting a meaningful drop in first quarter profit compared to a year ago, which I think just all this is shows there's uncertainty out there. I mean, are you getting that feeling there's just uncertainty? It's not good, bad, or otherwise. People are just like, they're getting in that paralysis sort of fear state with a lot. Not everybody, but enough people.
Yeah, I feel that out there too, to some degree.
So we established this is happening, right? We got all the data. Inflation's there. We know what's going on with Zillow downgrading their forecasts. So you're talking to a seller or buyer, right? You do this all the time. Let's start with the seller. They've already got a place to go. Actually, that's probably the easier one. Let's start with the seller who's trying to find a new home. What do you say to those people?
Wow.
I like wow. That's a good place to start.
We need to find out what it is that they're looking for. What's the motivate? Like, what's the reason for the move? How specific is the place that they're looking for? Is it something where there are a lot of them out there?
Sure.
Or is it kind of, this could take a bit for the right one to come up? Making sure to get those properties in front of them and then get them in front of the properties if it is the right fit, just to, kind of keep things moving along. If they're able to make competitive offers without selling their place first, either by pooling equity because they can carry both for a little bit, then the need to, get theirs on the market first. It is scary if you're going to list yours, you think yours is going to go fast and it's going to take you a minute to find where you're going. So just kind of lining up, what does the order need to be, and what can we do to make it happen?
So I think that's a really great place to start. And I think about what we tell people is that, there's never like a great time, right? And you've got to look at your own situation first and foremost. Like, is your situation calling for a move? Because if it's not, then stay put. Like, you're good. You don't have to worry about it. The flip side is I would ask them what's actually making them nervous about the economy in the first place. And I don't think a lot of people really can answer that question.
Right.
Are you finding people are nervous, but then when you dig in, they're really not sure what to be nervous about?
Yeah, to some degree, I think so. And then I think I've got a couple, like, I'm just kind of running through in my mind here, a couple different clients that like what they need is pretty specific. So finding it could take, it could come up today or it might take a bit.
For sure. And I think that's a good way to look at it is that you got to be prepared when the move happens. And I think that's the thing that needs to be understood for most people. And there's always a reason not to make a decision. So I would look at like, what's your backup plan if you don't move? I think that's a really great question. We've been role playing this on our role play calls. And if people can't answer that, then there is no plan. They probably should think about moving ahead. But if they do have like plan A, B, C, and D, and you're unsure, you don't want to just jump into these decisions. So how do you counsel people in that situation? Like, tell me a little bit more about, like, when they're saying, well, I could do this, I could do that, but we really want to do this. Like, what are the things people need to ask themselves?
Yeah. I mean, this would be more, so this was a buyer, but I had a situation not too long ago where it was coming up to where they're renting. They were going to need to let their landlord know, you have to let them know like 60 days before it's up. Like, are you going to be continuing? And I can't remember if they had an option to go month to month. If they did, it was going to really skyrocket their monthly payment. And we'd been actively looking at homes. We had written some offers, and it was something where, like, I was confident the right one would come up and that it would be a shame for them to lock into a full another year of renting out of, like, fear of not finding something in time. And they have family that's local. So we had the conversation about, I know this isn't ideal, but if it were the case that you had to move in with, a family member for a little bit, is that an option? And they were like, actually, we just had that discussion. It is. Like, and I think as long as we're, like, actively looking, it's not going to be a problem, And, we were more concerned because I felt I was confident that by the time their lease was up, we would have found something and gotten under contract. It was more like, is it going to be a month before settlement or something like that? And so they were like, all right, yep, we're not going to renew the lease. Let's go for it. And a few days later, we got under contract for a place, settled, and they actually have like 2 weeks between settlement and when they have to be out of their lease that they're able to do the thing everybody wants, not rushed, slow move into the new one. So, but it was about kind of like presenting options and like not moving out of fear, like not doing something out of fear, but having plans in place for what the different scenarios could be. And I usually like people to, hope for the best, but be prepared for the worst.
That's really smart. And I love that you're like, that's an option a lot of people don't like. Mm-hmm. The mistake that agents make is they don't present all the options because they automatically assume people aren't going to like that. Like, I wouldn't want to move in with family members. Would you?
No. But if that's what would make the pieces come together, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world,
I agree. And I think that the whole point here is that you got to present all the options. You don't know. You can't assume the answer on the other side. And this is a mistake a lot of agents make. They assume that they're never going to move in with their parents. They're never going to do this, or this deal's going to die right away. Well, you don't know what people are doing because they're going to make decisions based on what's best for them.
Right. And like ultimately, in order to get the pieces lined up, to have the ultimate goal in the end come together, getting there doesn't mean you're always going to get to do for each step along the way the most ideal, perfect thing for you. You may have to make some sacrifices, but you do it to get to the goal of getting what you're trying to do. It's like short-term pain for, the long-term win.
Yeah, and when you look at moving, no one likes selling their home. They like buying the new home. So a lot of cases, if they find a home that they want to close on no matter what, they're going to just do it, and they're going to figure it out. And the mindset for people knowing that there's all this uncertainty out there is, what can you be certain on? Well, you can be certain on options like that. What can I do if I can't, move all at once? Where's my payment going to be? Forget rates and fluctuations and all that. If you can control this home, that creates a lot of certainty for people on the purchase side. So I'm a big fan of controlling the controllables. And I think when you look at, there's some uncertainty here, I see that as an opportunity for consumers, because I think about when you bought your home or when I bought mine, there was definitely some uncertainty, right? And it was a little less competitive than when there was certainty, even just like a couple years later. You think about all the competition that's out there and everything else. And when you find something that works, don't wait around, because you don't know how long you could be waiting.
Right.
I mean, how many times have you had somebody where they saw something, they're like, oh, this is great, but we haven't seen enough. We're not prepped yet. And then they just keep talking about that first house that they saw.
It's the one that got away.
And it's a tough pill for people to swallow. And I think it actually pauses decision making in a lot of cases. So, with all these things happening, right? I mean, and you want to pay attention to the economy as a consumer. I would look at it and then ask your agent what it means for you, because we talked about national numbers versus local numbers. I don't see it being a bad decision for someone to buy in now if they're going to be somewhere long term. Do you?
Exactly. And that's a conversation that I have with people as well. Like, how long do you plan on being in this house? If you plan on being there for a year, you have to be a lot more mindful, I feel like, of some of the things. You've got closing costs that will happen on both sides of both buying it and selling it. Like, you have things that you need to like keep in mind here. But if you're going to be somewhere for, a number of years and this is going to be your home, it's like, yes, you need to be mindful of the economy and where things are at. No one can tell you if your plan is to hang on to this for 8 years, no one can tell you what's going to be happening in 8 years from now.
I agree.
So it's kind of like you just have to look at where things have tracked in the past, know that there's uncertainty. But what is certain, if you don't do it, if you're renting, you're paying rent for the next however many years. Like, so there's always, you're making a huge financial investment and there's no getting around that. And there's no absolute certainty in anything that you do, but you just have to kind of look at how it factors into your life and does it make sense? And is there a chance that, financially things could turn? And yeah, but there's also a chance that it doesn't and that it continues to appreciate in value. And if you're looking at how things have tracked in the past, that's your best indicator for where it'll probably go.
Past performance is not a guarantee for future results, but what else can you go by? Great point, Sarah. So mind all this noise carefully would be the advice for consumers here, because some of it could affect you, some of it may not. And in a lot of cases, we rarely look back and people are regretting making a decision when they weighed all the options, what's best for their household and their family. And I think that's the most important thing here, especially when there's uncertainty in the market. Because when there is certainty, there's going to be a rush, there's more competition, there's a lot more things you got to worry about. So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. RE/MAX has a new logo. Sarah hasn't seen it yet, so I don't want you to even look at it until we get on at the next segment.
All right, I won't.
And we're going to lead with that. And Keller Williams also sold a large stake of their company to a venture capitalist, Stone Point Capital. We'll unpack it all next on Toole Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM.
For the best local mortgage service and great rates on your money, look no further than Mortgage America. We've been operating in the greater Philadelphia area for 40 years with a focus on smooth, easy access to home purchasing. Whether you're a first-time buyer, upsizing or downsizing, or just refinancing, we have programs for you. We also have closing cost assistance programs and access to subsidized interest rates. Pre-approval is free, no costs or commitments. To learn more, visit our website at mymortgageamerica.com or give us a call at 610-439-8000. We always have a person available to take your call with around-the-clock human service. Purchase your home with the personalized, local service you find at Mortgage America.
Mortgage America is an equal housing lender. NMLS 128501.
When looking for a mortgage, you shouldn't have to sacrifice service to get a great rate. Visit the Sutera team at Cross Country Mortgage. We are your local, Pennsylvania lending experts with loans that fit nearly any unique home buying situation, including first-time buyer options, low to no down payment options, and non-agency products. Get a free pre-approval now at ccm.com and search for us, the Suteras. That's S-U-T-E-R-A. At Cross Country Mortgage, when it's time to move, we're right behind you.
Equal housing opportunity, subject to credit approval, NMLS 3029, NMLS 1390366, MLSconsumeraccess.org.
The Tom Toole Sales Group is the #1 RE/MAX team in Pennsylvania with over $165 million in volume for 2021. I'm Tom Toole, and our team has achieved that kind of success by being a great place to work with and to work for. No one knows Greater Philly better than we do. We know real estate, but more importantly, we're real people. We hire the best agents, and we give them all the tools to succeed. Even our brand new agents sell 17 to 24 homes a year because our team delivers the best experience in real estate. Teams deliver a better experience than individuals, and we're a top 1% real estate team in the country. We call it AAA service. We're your advocate, ally, and advisor. Because this isn't a transaction to us. It's a relationship. If you're buying or selling a home, call the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX main line at 610-692-6976 or visit tomtoole.com. That's tomtoole.com. Sell your home for more, and remember the real estate golden rule. You always get more when you work with Tom Toole.
Have you considered a career in real estate? Do you want control over your income? Whether you have a license or not, call us today at 610-692-6976 or visit tomtoole.com. Join our team, the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX main line.
Welcome back to Toole Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM. I'm Tom Toole. She's Sarah Tymon. We both work at the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Mainline, the number one RE/MAX team in Pennsylvania since 2018. And we are talking about this new RE/MAX logo. Keller Williams sold a big stake in their company, and an AI-generated agent generated $100 million in sales leads. There is a lot to talk about there. We'll hit on that in the third segment. If you get some value out of this, you like what you hear, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell for notifications. And if you want to schedule a call with Sarah to talk about what all this means for the real estate market, you can do that with the link in the comments. So RE/MAX has this new logo.
I didn't look at it yet. Should I look at it now?
Yeah, let's look at it here. You're going to see it. It's on their homepage there. So that's
they
it.
changed the balloon
and the font. So
Okay.
what do you think about this?
I'm good with the font's fine. The balloon kind of looks like he's missing something. Oh, I guess he doesn't have the basket.
Well, there's no basket.
No basket.
The name's not on there.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Thumbs up, thumbs down?
I'm going to say thumbs down.
Thumbs down. Well, so this has been the common reaction here. And I think it kind of looks like the Pepsi logo.
It does.
Did you ever get like Pepsi points when you were a kid? Do you remember this?
No, what's
I
that?
didn't know what they were either, but apparently you drank enough Pepsis, you would get them. But as soon as I saw this, I thought of the Pepsi logo. Like, it kind of looks like that.
It does look like the Pepsi logo.
I don't know. I mean, the thing I'm most annoyed about is we got to buy a whole lot of new signs now.
Ugh.
Now, this is like 3-4 years out, but we've got thousands of dollars in signs.
Yeah.
Like, that drives me nuts.
Yeah.
That's always a little bit of a I'll give you some intel here. So,
Well, do you think there's a chance if they get enough, this stinks, they'll just, kick it back to the old one?
probably not, would be my guess. So what I've heard, this got unveiled. They had RE/MAX R4 last week. And I mean, RE/MAX has a very iconic brand. Like, they're on the Phillies scoreboard, right? They're on the San Francisco Giants, outfield. They have all the advertisements in the outfield. I mean, it's been an iconic logo. It doesn't look like a hot air. It looks kind of like a Google map pin more than like a hot air balloon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They got rid of the slash, which
They did get rid of the slash.
Now, the problem is they still type it with the slash. And, when we get contracts, no one ever puts the slash in. If you've noticed that, like on agreements of sale, they just miss that part.
Oh, I always put the slash.
Well, yeah, because you know what you're doing and you're a competent agent. But most people, it's not like capitalized,
Skip
all that.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would have messed with this so much. But from what I heard from a couple people at the RE/MAX R4 conference is that this is the kind of reaction they wanted. They wanted people talking about the brand. So I guess that's cool. I would like people to talk about the brand for other reasons, like innovative things or how we're helping consumers.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, I don't think this logo is going to make much of a difference. That's just, is this going to affect your business at all, Sarah?
No.
Okay. That's kind of my feeling on this as well.
Although, to be fair, it's not like I was spending a lot of time looking at our old logo.
I wasn't either. I mean, this is one of those things great, they got a new logo. Let's go
Right.
sell some houses.
Yeah.
That's kind of my approach here. I think they wanted people talking about it in the industry. And I do think there's something to having a brand affiliated in certain areas. I think people do look at the brand sometimes. Do you ever get people asking why, about the company branding or anything like that when you interview for business, or not really?
Not really.
I found it more in the listing space, specifically the high-end listing space. That comes up a lot. Besides that, it's all about the agent,
Yeah.
in my view.
Right. I mean, this wouldn't be branding, but there are many different we're RE/MAX Mainline. There's a ton of different RE/MAX type offices. So people will just see RE/MAX and then be like, oh, do you know so and so? And it's a completely different office, which sometimes you do. It can be a small world, but but specifically for branding questions, not so much.
Yeah, I think it does, there is a space there where that matters, and especially for, it depends on the demographic of the sellers and what they're looking for. To me, though, it's all about the agent, and I don't think this is going to affect too much. I'm really annoyed having to get all these new signs. I mean, that's a lot of money.
Now, what I don't mind up here in the corner where they write RE/MAX and have the blue slash, was that always what was going on?
I think that's the old print, and they haven't changed the website. So,
well, that I like.
I like the red, white, and blue colors. I think it sticks out because everyone has black and white logos now, and you can't really note. I want people to notice the logo. I also just like America. I like the 4th of July. I like it's a classic color scheme. So I think that's good. It is what it is. I wouldn't don't sweat it too much would be my advice. I mean,
I don't know that I'll be thinking too much about it.
don't lose sleep tonight, Sarah, over thinking about the RE/MAX logo.
Right.
You're going to text me tomorrow. I could not sleep.
Couldn't sleep away.
I didn't like the new Pepsi logo that RE/MAX rolled out. I mean, they got to talk about it. I think it's already kind of forgotten here. This happened last week, so I don't think there's too much to talk about there. So, we'll see. We'll see what people react. I'm not going to be losing sleep or thinking about this much more after this story. So, let's talk about the other news, and this to me is the real news, that Gary Keller, industry icon, has sold an investment stake to Stone Point Capital. This is the parent company of CoreLogic that does a lot of research. Apparently, it's a significant investment, and they also appointed Christopher Sarsnecki as its new CEO and president. Now, they just got rid of a CEO and president, and they installed him. He's got 20 years of industry experience, and he's set to lead the company as next phase of growth. Gary Keller came out and said, I believe this is an exciting step forward for everyone and will always allow us to better focus on agents' personal development and sales growth, greater market success and profitability, and new financial investment and business opportunities. So I don't think this is that random because a lot of people have talked about like mergers and acquisitions in 2025. What do you make of this investment from Stone Point Capital? This isn't like a partner coming in or anything like that. It's an investment stake, which is a lot different.
So what? So and then they're going to bring their.
Well, they named a new CEO and president at the same time. That was this all kind of happened together.
Right, but all right, and then it says they're a powerhouse in the financial and real estate sectors with investments in CoreLogic, and other leading industry platforms. So they'll bring like their technology, like their stuff and integrate it in?
I don't know if they're going to bring that. I think it's no different than like News Corp owns like Realtor.com. And
they're just places. Like, we believe in you, Keller Williams,
and
as
we're
a
gonna
good
make
investment.
An investment. Yeah,
we're going to invest in you because we think that you're going to do well, and then we're going to make money back.
100%. That's exactly what they're doing.
Oh, well, good for Keller Williams.
So I think there's more to it than this. I mean, the big question was, and Gary Keller actually came out and said it, I'm not going anywhere. I love this company, this industry, and everyone in it. I made this decision to support your goals and aspirations in the best way with the best people that I could find. So I look at this as this is the beginning of Gary Keller's exit strategy. I mean, just to give you a perspective, he's 68 years old. So now people, I mean, they work till they're 80 anymore. I mean, but what I see here is that they've had a couple presidents and like leadership people like come and go. There was like a lawsuit that happened a couple years ago. Gary's still going to be the executive chairman. And, there's other people are going to be part of the leadership team. I look at this as I think there's going to be more of these moves happening. And I think there's going to be a large company that gets bought or, sold, or there's a takeover that's going to surprise a lot of people this year.
You have one in mind?
I mean, look, I think there's a lot. I mean, you look at all the big box brokerages that are out there. I mean, it could be any one of them. I mean, besides, Keller Williams just did this. I mean, and I don't think Berkshire Hathaway is going to because Warren Buffett owns them. But besides that, I think anybody could. I mean, you look at all the money they had to fork over for these settlements. I mean, I think there's a lot of that for sure. And Gary Keller, he's always going to kind of be the guy running the show. It's a lot like RE/MAX. Like Dave Lindinger is still the guy running the show, even though they have RE/MAX is on like their fourth CEO. I mean, these CEOs get replaced all the time, and I don't know that you make a move like this, and there's not going to be more changes coming. I don't think that's going to be the case for someone that built the company from the ground up, unless he's trying to cash out.
Right. You said he's 68?
He's 68.
Yeah. Interesting.
So you're an agent, right? Would this come across your radar? Let's say you're with a company where they just sold like that. Would that concern you at all?
I don't know if this is good or bad, but no.
Yeah. I don't think it's hitting a lot of it. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Because I'm a big believer. Real estate, the local leadership is probably the most important. Like the people you're actually working with. And when I see something like this, now apparently Gary and his team, they're going to have a significant ownership stake, and so this is going to be a benefit to leadership. Maybe they needed some cash infusion. I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of ways this can play out. I don't, it's something that I think you got to keep your eye on this. And I was kind of surprised to see them give up a stake like this. I mean, they've always had this, hey, we want to, we value our partners. We want to make sure that we've got profit sharing and all those other things. But now they're taking in more capital. So, I mean, it's a little bit of a surprise, at least in my view.
Yeah, no, I mean, I feel like I wouldn't really want to like spin my wheels too much with like, what could this potentially mean for me? Like, I probably wouldn't think about it too much.
Well, that's why you're selling houses, because you know what agents usually do? They get in their own way and think about everything except selling houses. So I think that's a good approach, Sarah. I think it's something you want to keep your eye on. I mean, this is not insignificant news. And I mean, I think it's, they're trying to bring in more resources. They're trying to bring in stronger tech, better positioning. The market's really competitive. I mean, you need an edge right now to win. So I get that. I think it's just something you got to keep your eye on here. I don't think there's much more to read into it besides that.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take another break. We're going to come back. Now, this story is interesting, right? I want to talk a little bit about an article my friend Katie Lucy wrote about the reality check every agent needs to hear right now, and the AI agent that is generating $100 million in sales opportunities. This one's going to blow your mind. We're going to talk about how to get ready. It's March, like the year's not young anymore, and AI is something you're going to need to embrace. We'll break that down next on Toole Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM.
You shouldn't have to deal with all the red tape when getting your mortgage from a big or online bank. At Mortgage America, we have access to big bank money, but with the personalized and detailed service of a local bank. We are here in your community and ready to serve with fast settlements, low down payment options, and first-time homebuyer programs. Pre-approval is free, no costs or commitments. For more information, visit our website at mymortgageamerica.com or give us a call at 610-439-8000.
Mortgage America's equal housing lender. NMLS 128501.
When looking for a mortgage, you shouldn't have to sacrifice service to get a great rate. Visit the Sutera team at Cross Country Mortgage. We are your local Pennsylvania lending experts with loans that fit nearly any unique home buying situation, including first-time buyer options, low to no down payment options, and non-agency products. Get a free pre-approval now at ccm.com and search for us, the Suteras. That's S-U-T-E-R-A. At Cross Country Mortgage, when it's time to move, we're right behind you.
Equal housing opportunity, subject to credit approval, NMLS 3029, NMLS 1390366, MLSconsumeraccess.org.
I'm Tom Toole of the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Main Line. If you're thinking of becoming a real estate agent in the greater Philly area, I have a special offer for you. Our team did $165 million of volume in 2021, making us the #1 RE/MAX team in Pennsylvania and a top 1% team nationally. Our agents love us because we offer them a successful career, a great life, and an unbeatable culture. Agents who've been with us for at least a year average 30-plus sales. Even our brand new agents average 17 to 24 sales a year. We offer proven systems and expert training. We help you set more appointments and sell more houses. Now here's the offer. If you don't have a real estate license yet, we offer real estate scholarships so you can get one for free. Check it out at realestatescholarshipprogram.com or visit the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Mainline at tomtoole.com. That's tomtoole.com. Get more out of your real estate career, and remember the real estate golden rule. You always get more when you work with Tom Toole.
Have you considered a career in real estate? Do you want control over your income? Whether you have a license or not, call us today at 610-692-6976 or visit tomtoole.com. Join our team, the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Main Line.
All right. Welcome back to Toole Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM. I'm Tom Toole. She's Sarah Tymon. And we both work at the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Mainline, the #1 RE/MAX team in Pennsylvania since 2018. And we are talking about that. There's some real stuff agents need to be paying attention to here. You want to listen to this segment. An AI agent generated by a tech company generated $100 million in sales. So everyone just needs to let that sit in. We're also going to talk about the reality check every agent needs right now, the 4 different types of salespeople, thanks to Sharon Travaza from Real. So if you get some value out of this, you like what you hear, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications. And if you want to schedule a call with our team and Sarah specifically to talk about real estate, you can do that with the link in the comments. So let's start here. There's an AI agent that was generated by a company called eSelf. And if you go to their website, it's pretty incredible. You can literally generate like whoever you want on there. And it's very interesting when you get on their website. They have AI video assistants for education, trading advisors, customer support, financial advisors. It's pretty wild. And you can look at it. They're all very good-looking people that they have on here. Like that's, I find that to be pretty interesting. And they created this AI agent, and the AI agent generated $100 million in sales, in sales leads. It's a video on-demand persona, and they were able to field questions 24 hours a day and answer stuff. What do you think about this? I mean, this was in Israel, so it was not. It was, and I'll go into some details here. The firm was Porta de Frente Christie's, and it was all based on what this AI persona was generating. So they went out and just generated it all and answered questions and everything else. And
then did it translate to that volume in closed?
So that was the potential transactions. And then what they did now, then they're flipping them to agents to actually go, because this person's, obviously the AI is not licensed to go do that. So, but they were able to generate $100 million in sales volume.
I guess nobody knew that they were talking to AI.
I don't know the answer to that. So when first interacting, customers were asked for basic information, desired city, budget, number of bedrooms. Then the agent will search for listings, take buyers on virtual tours, give detailed information, and it helps them find what they're looking for faster. And it also allows people in different time zones to get their questions answered when it's convenient.
And the AI person can probably be simultaneously doing this for hundreds of people at once.
And doesn't need to sleep.
Right.
I mean, you only got so many work hours in a day.
Yeah.
And I when you see something like this, I think it's important to take note. But I mean, yeah, they were this AI agent was, they were doing the things.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like if I was a robot, I could probably do it too.
I agree with that.
I mean, it makes sense. They would have no limit to how many at one time they could be providing all of this information to. I mean, they're kind of like capturing it's like the big catch and then funnels into, where it does. And, if it's depending on what they're qualifying as like a, towards that like dollar amount, is it just somebody that goes onto the site and asks a single question? Is it something like, where does it, or is there like a certain point through a process that they need to get before it gets counted?
So, I mean, I don't know the answer to that. What I do know is that this person was like generating like ready, willing, and able clients.
Yeah.
And what this tells me, looking at this, and it's agents need to pay attention to this, because how many times have you seen a real estate agent, like we have like proven processes, like do this, 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 and this. It usually works, right? Mm-hmm. And they decide to freestyle and do whatever they want anyway, and it blows up in their face, right? Well, the AI is just proven to you. And this demonstrates that the plays that work, that everyone talks about, because this business is not that complicated, or I would not be doing it. I mean, it's that these plays work. So stop trying to reinvent the wheel and just do the stuff that works in the business.
Well, and like the AI wouldn't be getting like in its own head and overthinking anything. Like they're just jamming it out.
Or they would use the script.
Yeah.
Right. They would know the objection handlers. Mm-hmm. They would know what to say when someone says, hey, I'm nervous about interest rates, or I want to wait, or I'm going to use a friend, and they also have the market information that I think a lot of agents turn their nose up at. They don't pay attention to like what average sale prices are and what the trends are. Like we talk about the 10 to 14 days on market indicator. Most agents don't know that. Mm-hmm. And if AI can do this, then you should just follow the playbook that they're doing instead of trying to do this on your own.
Right.
And stop freestyling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's impressive.
I mean, it's pretty great. And I think, and then there's, the flip side is I think there's going to be agents that embrace AI, right? And some are not. And the people that do, if this can happen already, and we're in the early days of this, then the more you use AI, the more efficient you're going to be.
Right.
I mean, what do you do? Do you utilize AI in your business right now? Like, tell me more about how you use things.
I mean, I do Chat GPT.
So that's AI.
Yeah. Mainly for emails and texts, just for like having it be kind of tightened up or just, hey, this is what I'm trying to say. Make it sound good.
Well, I think but how long would it take you to write that email?
Oh my God, ridiculously long. Like Eric, my husband, used to make fun of me all the time because it wouldn't even be like some complicated email. And he would just be like, how are you still writing that? And it's like, well, I'm trying to decide between an exclamation point and a period, Like,
Yeah.
So no, I would take ridiculously long to send things. So yeah, that's definitely been really great.
Well, and I think that's a great starting point for a lot of agents to use. And what you're going to see here is with AI is that there's proven documented things that happen in real estate. And I think a lot of agents, they either think they don't need the skills or they fall into one of these like 4 categories of salespeople. So tell me, did we go over this before, the 4 different types of salespeople?
Yeah.
We did. So they either fall into the freestyler, right? They wing it. They don't have a process, anything like that. Or the know-it-all, which is the worst one because they do a couple deals, they know everything, right? And then they don't ever try to get better. And what's going to happen is you got people like eSelf's AI Israeli agent doing $100 million in sales. Like, I mean, that people are going to figure out how to use this more and more in every space. Forget just real estate. And I think this is a reality check for a lot of people. The other reality check I want to talk about is that Katie Lucy down in Florida, she's someone I got to know through the BAM network and some other things, is that she said that there's a reality check for agents. So tell me what you think about this. So you got your license 4 or 5 years ago. You entered real estate at the peak of the chaos. Everything sold. This happened to you. Like you started February 2020, right? Mm-hmm. The pandemic. What was going through your mind in March of 2020 after like you join? We join up here. Mm-hmm. And then, hey, you can't sell real estate anymore.
I was just like, again, perfect timing, Sarah.
So, I mean, were you like nervous at all or like?
Not really, just because I figured that like eventually it would. And like I was still so new to it that I think it would have been scarier if I was not quite that new. You know what I mean? Like if I was used to any way of normalcy for how things were. Like I was very, very new. So yeah, I think I actually.
You just didn't know what you didn't know.
Yeah, I was just kind of like blissfully unaware. And I was like, oh, I guess I don't have to go into the office every day now.
Well, I think that's sometimes that's the best place to be in. I think that's actually a good perspective here. So there's and then, you kind of figure it out. So there's a lot of people, though, they got in and they thought, oh, this is easy. Like some of the things we listen to our calls, right, and that are recorded, that are legally recorded, to be very clear. And it's like, questions like, are you pre-approved? Like, I'm not showing you that. Like, that's horrible service. Right. And so everything's sold. Homes were moving. Buyers were making decisions in minutes. Listings barely lasted a week. Multiple offers were the norm. Sellers had all the leverage. You didn't need to market. Negotiation was like, how high are you willing to go? That was the skill set. So now those agents, they're feeling the shift. And then you have things like an AI agent generating $100 million in volume. And it's like the month of March. And I think, when you look at the market shifting and people are hoping that the good old days are going to come back, I don't think that's a valid strategy. I mean, are you feeling like there's a reality check? Now, you're having a great year, by the way. I mean, you're on pace to have your best year ever based on, what we've talked about and just the business planning that we do. Do you feel like some people need an ego check and need to maybe get serious about their business right now? Or what's your take? I mean, you're seeing agents all the time. You're talking to them daily.
Yeah, I mean, I would say probably if a lot of them got in 2020, 2021, were able to turn some quick deals, and then as things have not been that way, in my opinion, for a while now.
I
agree.
I
think a lot of them probably already left. That were, if they came in, got some quick business, and then it got more difficult.
And we did see NAR's numbers drop at the end of last year to below 1.5 million. So that's a good point on your part.
Yeah. So, so I would say some of them probably already left. And I mean, I guess it depends which, where in the country you're located. And, there could certainly be different, factors going in that, I'm sure there could be some agents that are still able to just turn over quick things.
I agree with you. And I also think the reality check is that it's like March right now, right? And, I mean, you look at where the year is, and we track our numbers. Like, if you got a sales goal, let's say it's to sell 20 homes. Let's make the numbers easy, right? if you're not at like 5 homes sold, 4 homes sold, and we're sitting here on March 4th, you better get to work. And I think there's a lot of people that think it's still early in the year. It is not early in the year anymore. Right. And statistically, we track our numbers. How much of our pending business goes under contract every month? Because I think that's a relevant thing. Like pending sales, what are you putting under agreement? Because that's more controllable than like settlement dates and that sort of stuff. Historically, you want to be at between 15.6 to 23.2 of all your pending business is under contract or sold in the month of February. And then for March, you want to be in a range of 22.4 to 32.5%. So basically almost like a third of the way through the year. So if you're trying to sell 24 homes this year, on the high end, you want to be at 8. On the low end, you want to be at 6, right? And that's the reality of the market. So if you're behind those numbers, Sarah, what advice do you have for agents now? Because there's still time to make up, but like there's 8 months left in the year now. Like when you get to the end of March, it's not 9, it's 8 because December is a 2025 pending sales month.
Right. So I mean, I would say don't overly beat yourself up at this point. Just try to turn it around before it's too late. I think that you can still don't write off the year and be like, well.
Well, there's some people that already are talking about next year, which is wild to me.
Yeah. So I think just kind of look at what's worked, what you need to do, talk to your mentor, get, just figure out what you need to do to get there. And, you can't just wait for things to come to you.
Well, I think waiting's not a strategy.
Right.
It's not a good one. I would look at, okay, where's your business plan that you came up with at the beginning of the year? So many people, they never look at these things, ever. And you look at it and like, all right, so I'm supposed to be at this point of the year. Now, we have these basis numbers. Now, every market's going to be different. If you're in the greater Philadelphia area, I mean, this is 5 years, 6 years of data where we've sold, I don't know, close to probably 2,500 homes in that window of time. So there's a finite amount of, and this is a large net here. So if you don't know where your numbers are, like start tracking them. Like come up with a spreadsheet. You don't need to have some like tracking software or anything like that. I know we use that stuff all the time, but just pay attention to what's going on. So for people that aren't as tech savvy as I am, how do you track your business, Sarah?
So I have a little like sheet that's printed off for like tallying things on. And then, I mean, that would probably be one of the main ways. And then like going in and just seeing where you are.
So what does this look like? Like explain it to everybody. Cause I'm a big believer in like the sheet works. Like you just got to have it.
Yeah. It's just like a little chart that has like 4 different columns in it that's kind of broken down for what you should do each week.
So, and how's that working well? Yeah.
I mean, it makes you, it keeps you, I don't know exactly what word I'm looking for here, but like otherwise I feel like weeks can just go by.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of makes you like look at what you're doing each week. And, each week does matter. So, it just kind of makes you keep going. Because I think also there's the way it works in our industry, like overall what you do ultimately does determine how well you do.
100%.
But it's not a tick for tack. It's not, I made this call, so I got this sale. I did this, so I got that. It's an accumulation of like all of the things over time that lead to all of the results over time. And they do sometimes go in waves, both good and bad. But it can make it feel a little bit out of your control if you're, if you're doing all these things and you're not getting the results. Now that could be you're doing the wrong things. But if you're doing the right things and the results just haven't come in yet, looking at what you're doing can kind of help you keep going because it's like eventually this will produce.
Well, and what you said there is critical. Like, are you doing the activities or are your skills up to snuff, right? Like, I know I've had to work on my appointments sometimes. Like, you keep meeting with people and it doesn't go anywhere. Like, what are you saying to them? Like, how are you showing up? It's either skill-based or activity-based. And I think that's the wake-up call, right? The year is not new anymore. So you want to really keep that in mind here, especially as we head into March and really April, May, June, July. So that's what we got for this week's episode. If you got some value out of this, you like what you hear, make sure to subscribe to the channel. You can follow Sarah at Ty_Ty Time. You can follow me at TomToole3RD, both on Instagram. We'll be back next week on Toole Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM.